頑張れ五右衛門。ネオ桃山幕府の踊り。64で登場。
Welcome to Remember 64, where this week we try to stop the evil stage performers from, wait, why are we doing this again? Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is David Petrangelo, and it's a good thing these two ninja buddies happen to be around just in time for this giant spaceship to come along and try and turn a castle into a stage. And wait, why is that guy in his underwear? What's happening here? Well, that's just some vague quips about our level 22 game, Mystical Ninja, featuring Goemon. A new guest will be joining this week to talk about the game and their experience with the Nintendo 64. I'm very excited to have him on. Before that, though, a reminder up front, as usual, you can toss us a rating on your podcast app of choice so more and more people can find this fun stuff that we're doing here at Remember 64. Or if you want to get episodes early, if you want to help us choose what we're going to play next, and if you want to get some video content previewed before it goes up live weeks in advance, they are mini reviews. Just a heads up there. That can all be on our Patreon page, patreon.com/Remember64show for just $1, $3, or $5 a month. All there for you, and everything is updated weekly. All right, without further ado, let's bust out the history books, everyone.
I'm learning.
It's time to head back to April of 1998. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon was developed by Konami, first titled Ganbare Goemon 5. The Japanese producers instead wanted to shed the numerical naming pattern and landed on the eventual title of Mystical Ninja. All this in order to just drive the point home and emphasize that this time around you were definitely playing something different. Now the game, just like its predecessors, initially had a 2-player co-op mode, but over the final months leading up to release, that was completely scrapped, something many reviews at the time pointed out as a disappointment. But Mystical Ninja worked with 128 megabits in that N64 cartridge, so with co-op not there anymore, this allowed devs to favor something else. And we talk about this in a couple moments, but the high-quality musical numbers and voice samples are what took its place. Konami released a set of early renders of the game and of Goemon posing and showing off facial features for magazine previews at the time. And then not long after, an early build of the game was featured at E3 1997. But that's not it. Konami wasn't done there. They later presented a nearly finished build at the Tokyo Game Show in September of 97, and children were the main target for Mystical Ninja. So in typical 90s fashion, what did Konami do? Well, of course, as expected, scheduled appearances of Goemon mascots at school gymnastics competitions in Japan. Now, I mentioned the music and sound a minute ago. The soundtrack is a collaboration of 4 different composers. The team knew they had a set of solid track on their hands, so they used these musical numbers and remixed one of the songs called I Am Impact and released it on a CD on October 3rd of 1997. Now, the game's mild release in Eastern markets prompted the production of an animated show as well. Now, bear with me again here, but it went a little something like this. Goemon fights off evildoers after being transported to a modern society where he becomes besties with an elementary school student. Why? Reasons. That's why. The show was planned for release in North America over a year before the game's release, but then it was delayed by another full year and ultimately never made its way to North American shores. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon sold 55,000 units in North America and 141,000 in Japan. All right, there's a little look back at the game itself. Let's talk about this wacky adventure with our guest. All right, as always, everybody, on Remember 64, it's time to bring in a special guest, another new guest this time. I'm very, very excited to talk about this game with Danny as our special guest this week. Danny, how are you, man?
I'm not too bad. You decided to get me up at 6:30 in the morning, but apart from that, it's all good. How are you?
I'm okay. I feel terrible, but I'm also very excited, so I'm conflicted.
No, honestly, it's all good. I do my recordings at 6 o'clock in the morning because otherwise I'm not going to be able to speak to anyone who lives in America, Britain, Canada, because I'm living in Australia.
Yeah, which is great, man. I mean, like the things people do to talk about video games and play video games, it's very impressive.
You've got I've done 5 a.m. I've done 5 a.m. for some people. I'm like, oh my god, my wife's just hitting me like, you prick. You prick. Gotta be done. It's gotta be done.
Got to be done, right? It's just got to scratch that itch. So, so you're up that early. You're doing fun stuff out there. You got your own show going on. Why don't we tell people a little bit about that before we jump in?
Yeah, so I do my own podcast called Retro Wars, and basically each week I get a guest on. Half of the show is just me dicking around, talking about news, games, and stuff, like beat our own little games, and then the other half is talking about the selected game. We go from probably the NES Master System up until at the moment. I think we've done the Wii, a few of them. It's just basically just dicking around, and it's not me praising every game. There are some ones like our 1 year show is this week. Doing the bouncer, and I'm not gonna lie, that game's a pile of shite. So don't be
happy 1 year.
Happy 1 year. Let's do a shit game, and yeah, it's just basically a shit talk each week. And then people might agree with it, people might disagree with it, but it's all good fun at the end of the day.
That's it, exactly, right. And that's kind of what this show is too. There's definitely going to be games that we're going to come across, and we already have at this point. We're sitting at almost 1 year as well for us for the show too. And for the most part, we've been lucky. We've played some pretty good stuff. And every once in a while, you're going to hit a stinker or a sort of middle ground game. And yeah, that's fine. It is what it is. As long as you had fun talking about it and playing it, that's all good. That's all it's about. So.
Well, okay. When you say have fun playing it, there are going to be some games you're not good. Superman 64, you're not going to have fun playing that.
It's sad that I'm so excited to play that game again because I remember. No. I want to know. I don't really remember what it felt like playing it as a kid because I'm pretty sure I rented it from the store a couple times at that.
What?
And I just know. Yeah, I that's it. That's all I've experienced.
Why is it a couple of times? You should have realized the first time. Oh, this game is utter crap. I'll hire it again. What's wrong with you?
Well, where do I start with that question? That's the other. The reason why is I want to be a part of this. It's not a bandwagon because it's pretty well known that it's a terrible game, but I really want to experience just how bad it is. I don't love shitting on games. But if you have to, you just have to, and at least the discussion. It's sort of like when something not so great happens to you, nothing serious, but something silly. Oh, I slipped and I stubbed my toe or something. It's like, oh, well, at least you got a story out of it. Or I did this, or someone at work said that. Well, at least you got a story out of it. At least I'll get a podcast out of it.
So you're far too nice. If I get a shit game, I will shit all over it and then literally drink the tears of everybody else who doesn't like it. So I did Spyro, and I had people messaging me going, "Oh, I love Spyro." I was like, "I'm fine, but it's shit. It's shit."
Not everything holds up, man. Not everything holds up. Like just because it's a fun character doesn't mean it's going to be a great game.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So, before we get into this game more specifically, what was your experience with 64 before today? Like growing up, did you have one? Was it something that you played a lot of? Yeah.
That was like my second games third games console after my Mega Drive or Genesis. And Game Boy, and then eventually the N64 came out, and my cousin did I hire? I can't remember, but at the time I sold my Mega Drive, all my stuff, my Mega Drive, put it in the local paper, sold everything, and then with the money managed to get an N64 with an extra controller and Mario 64. So that was
nice.
That was the start.
Sweet deal.
Yeah, that was the start of my N64, and had it. I think I've still got the N64 somewhere. It's not behind me before anyone thinks. It's somewhere. I just don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my old house. I don't know if it still works. I'll be impressed if it does.
You know what? Like I have my original SNES that I bought when I was 8 or something like that. That thing still works, man. It's like I haven't done anything special. I never cleaned it, never did any sort of like maintenance to it. If that still works and was stored God knows where for the last 15 to 20 years, I wouldn't be surprised if N64 works. I mean, it's coming. It's the same plastic with a couple of chips. I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
that's all it is
too
at the end of the day.
surprised.
Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
it should
Maybe a
work.
little bit of dust cleaning or whatever, but other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if it works. As long as the cartridges are in pretty good shape, I would assume the console is fine. So hey, if you find it, it's worth a test run. That's for
It's worth,
sure.
and it's like, find my games. Do they all work? Like the only N64 games I have to hand are these 2 Japanese Zeldas my brother got me for Christmas, and that's about
Oh,
it. Um,
sweet.
so I need to see. Otherwise, I don't know where my old games. I got my old Game Boy games, but I
Yeah.
don't know where the N64 games are. They'll be somewhere hidden around in a house or somewhere back in England.
Yeah, there's always a few things lying around. There's a few SNES and 64 games I just found that happened to be in my stuff and somehow not at my parents' place. I was like, how'd this get here?
Yeah,
Pleasant surprise. I mean, it's a good problem to have, you know. So
exactly. Yeah,
Uh, okay, so I dipped my toes into 2 of the Goman games a little bit over the last couple weeks. The first one is Mystical Ninja starring Goman.
yeah,
That's the original. And then
yeah.
there's The Great Adventure of Goman. What's the name of it here? I should have this in front of me. Goman's Great Adventure. That's what it is, which is sort of like the sequel. I mostly played Mystical Ninja starring Goman. Let's just call that the first one. We'll just go
Yeah.
with it that way. What was your experience playing this when you were younger? Is this something that you sort of found later on?
No, so first of all, going to be a dick. It's not Goman. It's Goemon. There's
Goemon.
Goemon. There's a dick move for you from the off.
No. Honestly, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to figure out
How to
how to
pronounce
say
it.
is, even if it's like, is it Gaiman? You know, like it could be something like that. But
Oh,
so Goemon,
Goemon.
Goemon. Okay, there
Yeah.
we go. All
We'll
right,
play
I
the
learned something today. I love it.
play the N64 version. You wonder if he's called Gaiman, considering what goes on in this game.
Especially
So
at the beginning.
especially, oh Jesus, there's so much. So my cousin, his parents, one of them works for British Airways, so he's always going across the world, going across America, and he always used to bring back like random games because he had the money, and he was just
Oh,
like, "Here you go, here you go, here you go."
cool.
So I think my cousin's dad had no idea when it came to what video games were prevalent at the time, so he just basically bought anything. So my cousin would come
Sure.
round to the house, would come round family house every Saturday. I'm like, what have you brought this time? And he would bring stuff like Bomberman 64. He had what the ones he had. I don't know, Goemon. He had Goemon, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And
Yeah.
my other cousin had introduced us into Japanese culture through animes, and
Oh, cool.
mostly
Okay.
violent animes.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like, wow, animes can be nice. So we kind of picked it, and we started playing it, and I thought, oh, this is actually really cool. So I asked if I could borrow it for a little bit, and I took it back home and blitzed it, absolutely blitzed it, and fell in love with it.
Nice. Yeah, I had I think I sent you a couple messages when we were sort of talking about what about the series a little bit. I had the original. I don't know. I don't think it's considered the original, but
Super
the
Nintendo
one
one?
that came out the one
Yeah.
for SNES 91, 92, I think is when it came out, at least in North America anyway. I have that game. It is in the room beside me in a pile of my SNES games, and I remember really like enjoying it because the music was really cool. I could play with my brother. You could play co-op, which is not
Yeah.
super common, especially then. And you know, you kind of just go around and I didn't really know what was going on. You know, some areas ghosts popped up. Sometimes you could just walk into like an inn. Sometimes you could play mini games. Like there's all these little things in it that were just fun to do. As far as like progressing ever in it, I don't think we ever really got very far at all. We were just little kids at the time. But that's my experience with this series and that's it. That's where it starts and ends. And I just remember having a good time with it. And I know that at least one of these games existed on the N64, but I never played them because as we discussed before we hit record, I played all the typical N64 games growing up. You know, it was Mario Kart, it was Mario Party, it was Mario 64, like things like that. All the stuff that we've talked about and we'll probably continue to talk about on this podcast. But like, it was cool to go back to these characters that I recognized from 30 years ago, honestly, and play them in a different world in 3D. And I was like, wow, they realized the characters pretty well for a fairly early N64 game. I thought it was going to look really muddy, really like rough around the edges, and for an early 3D game to take it from fully 2D to this, I think they did a pretty good job with it,
Well,
honestly.
yeah,
Just the way it looks.
well, that's the thing. This was pre-Zelda. This was
Yes.
pre-Zelda, just post Mario. So it was
Yep.
a massive, massive adventure. Like Mario, fair enough. You know, you jump your levels, you do this, but this was trying to bring like RPG elements and quest elements into it, and it was a huge undertaking when you compare it to what we have now. Yeah, fair enough. It doesn't look as polished as other games now, but you can still play that and still have an absolute time. Like, and
Yeah.
still, you have to go into it with the understanding that this is a very Japanese game, a very for Western audiences at the time, they had no idea what this game was, and a lot of the themes, like a Beat Tomorrow, was basically coming out of the shop in the first few minutes in his underpants because that's Japanese culture. They do that sort of shit, but that's not
It's
ours.
like it's so
It's
like I know that he was sort of a goofy character even in that game that I was, the SNES game. He always
Mm.
had like the sort of funnier or more wacky text and dialogue and stuff like that. But then all this, like, literally to start the game with him running out of I think they're in a tea shop or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
or a store. Yeah, and he runs out and he's literally in his underwear and he just says, I thought he really wanted to I thought he would give us a deal because I was going to do a dance. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, what is happening in this game already? Like, nothing has happened, but everything has happened
Yeah.
in that one moment.
It's like if you get the game over screen. If you get the game over screen in this, you get the three devils basically in underpants doing hula hoops. It's like,
Oh my God.
what the absolute fuck?
What is happening?
What is happening?
What is happening? Oh my God.
This is Japanese culture, and it was such an in your face. And
Oh,
that's
it's
not a bad thing.
100%.
It's
Yeah,
not a bad thing.
100%.
It was great. Like I said, I was kind of used to it a little bit from watching certain anime.
Right.
But I know from a lot of people, like, what the fuck? And it was,
Well,
but it was
that's
so
honestly,
good.
that's my reaction to stuff like this. I am not an anime person. I don't like dislike it. I just have not had a ton of experience with it. Very typical stuff that, I don't even know. If you said a name, I'd be like, sure, I think I've watched some of that, but nothing deep, nothing, and this is later in life. I never watched anime growing up and stuff. So like, even just seeing this now as an adult in my mid-30s, I'm just like, what? I don't, what? But after that the first couple of scenes and you try and figure out what's going on, even though I don't really know what's going on, but it also doesn't matter at the
No.
same time in some ways, because you just appreciate the goofiness and what they're going for. And it looks ridiculous sometimes, but like what they need to bring to life with like some of the larger characters and stuff. It just looks so insane, but it doesn't take itself super seriously either, which I
God, no.
appreciate. That makes a huge difference, because some games like this will just take themselves seriously, and then you're just like, okay, really? Is that really what you're doing here? Like, come on, let's just have some fun. And I think this game is just straight up having fun with itself, which is amazing.
It is. Like, the plot itself is stupid. Like, two people
It
from
is.
another planet basically want to make themselves the best dancers in the world and turn like basically Edo-esque castle into a European castle. And that's the plot of you're trying to stop these two aliens from singing and dancing their way to the world. That is the plot. And there's no way around that. But it's stupid, but it knows it's stupid, and that's what makes
Yeah.
it so good. I'm like, right, you're not taking it too seriously. You know exactly what you are. You're gonna take it for what it is and just enjoy the ride. And whatever happens, just enjoy it. Like, literally, let's be honest, the amount of shit that goes on in this game, like from this to giant robots, it knows exactly what it is.
It's wacky. It's straight up wacky. Like, that is what it is from start to finish. From a ninja running out with no clothes on, to a giant ship that turns a castle into a different type of castle, I guess you could call it. Like all the stuff you just talked about, to giant robots and everything. But
Giant robot battles. It's good. The giant robot
but
battles.
when it comes down to it, the robot battles and everything else, like, what's your feel? I don't know how long it's been since you last played this, but what's your feel with how the gameplay actually feels now, going back to it?
I think it's still, like, I had to play it. I did it for my own show. Me and my cousin actually covered it, and we went back, and we still love it. Like,
Yeah,
just
nice.
going back, and just when you first go through the forest, the first bit of land, and you hear the music, and both he messaged me that, like, he was like, "Oh my god, the music's just kicked in." I went, "Yep, that music. I haven't heard it for like 15 years, but I was like, I remember it." And then the camera handles like shite. The platforming, the bits you have to do aren't amazing, but you just go, okay, it's the N64 controller, yeah. But
Yeah, you gotta deal with it.
deal with it. It's not. It's a bit cumbersome,
Yeah.
Especially when you're using Impact the robot. It's not like you're expecting these huge mech battles to flow, but it doesn't. But it's still fun. And that's why
Yeah.
I think maybe nostalgia helped me down the line on that one, because it helped push me. So, okay, I can look past these flaws. Doesn't matter how bad it is, I'm still going to enjoy myself. Whereas someone like yourself, I can imagine, okay, this isn't, maybe as great, but you didn't have those nostalgia glasses to help you over the line.
Yeah, so that is a difference for sure. I was more interested just to see how they took this game that I sort of recognized from 2D to 3D and see how they filled out the world and everything. And honestly, like, yeah, sure, some of the areas, but this is for a lot of early 3D games on the N64 especially and PS1. But like, some of the worlds are just populated with the same characters over and over and over again. It's very, there's not a whole bunch of like density or whatever, but that's okay. I get it. That doesn't bother me, none of that stuff. But for the most part, actually, like, the only thing that quote unquote annoyed me or I thought was less fine-tuned than the other stuff is the traversal, like the jumping on platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
Mainly because the jump feels very like it feels like he doesn't jump quite enough, or the characters
Yeah.
don't quite jump. Especially, the main two characters. I think they have like this really awkward jump, whereas now I can't remember the little guy's name.
That's
Has the
gay.
Yeah, he's a little bit more agile, and he's supposed to be, right? And that's fine. But every once in a while, the traversal, because of the camera, and because of the way they jump, it's not great. But other than that, honestly, like hitting enemies, collecting items, just sort of making your way through the I guess battle areas or open spots where some of the enemies are coming after you. I actually found it totally fine. Like I honestly I thought it was going to be super clunky and just be like, oh boy, this is going to be rough. But it's actually not. I think it actually controls fairly well, other than the jumping traversal stuff. And I was pleasantly surprised, and I didn't have that nostalgia to hold me through it. So
Yeah, because I remember messaging you because you never played, and I was like, "You'll enjoy this one. Like, it's an experience. I think
yeah.
it's still one that it's a good length game. Like, if you want to get the most out of it, like, did you ever watch? I don't think did. You complete it? Did you complete this game?
I came close. So I was looking at, because I jumped between the two, which
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I would have completed it. But you're right, it is not a short game. There's a lot here, and not even just because like just the main, I guess you could call it story arc is that, but there's a lot of like little things you can go and figure out. Go into like 100 different shops and areas and talk to a bunch of different characters, which, like you mentioned, I think a few minutes ago, the RPG element of this
Yeah.
isn't that you have like a skill tree or any of that kind of stuff. It's not that kind of idea. It's that you're going into all these different open areas essentially, and you're talking to characters, and they'll give you important items that sometimes you need, which you don't realize you need until you get to that point. And that's a little bit of old school, game design, where it's like, well, talk to everybody and eventually you'll get what you need, and we
Eventually,
won't
you'll
tell you where
find
to
the shit
go.
you need. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love that, but also that's just the time. That's just
Yeah.
what they're able to do and what their limitations are and cartridges, and so it's fine, whatever, right? But at least you get to like appreciate the world that you're in and the characters that are around you, right? And the writing is hit and miss, I think, because the translation isn't great, but at
Yeah.
least you get that opportunity to do that.
There are problems with the translation, like because they've got a laughing track behind
Oh,
it.
yes, that's right.
Sometimes they'll just you hear the ha 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 ha, and you're like, what did I miss a joke?
Did I leave the TV on upstairs? Like,
Yeah.
what was that?
What the fuck? But because the translation, there was some translation errors, you kind of get there. Okay, I don't think they understand the Western audience. I don't think we understand their humor. I think we've missed bits here. But that's like it. But again, that just adds to the stupidity of it all. So I don't criticize it for that. I'm like, it's very early days. This is like barely internet functioning time. So when it comes to translation errors, I'm like, you can be forgiven. This is getting like the old Final Fantasy games. I don't care. The translation is shit. It's one of them. Until the internet came along, when translation was perfected, I don't really have an issue with it.
No, and it's not terrible. It's not like you can't follow what they're saying. It's just okay. The joke lands a little bit flat. So what?
Yeah.
I've read and seen worse things before than what's in this. So
exactly. Like, did you ever? Is there one for you? We were talking about anime earlier. Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
From bits and pieces here and there. I couldn't tell you where the storyline went or what parts of the storyline, because I know it's a very deep story and history and everything. But from time to time, yes.
Okay, so the reason why I bring Dragon Ball Z up, because there's two parts. One, I completely forgot one of them. Goemon has like power ups, and they all have like these
Yeah.
certain items. One of Goemon's power ups is that his hair turns completely yellow, spikes up in yellow. I was like, holy shit, that's Super Saiyan, and it's in
Yes.
reference to the Super Saiyan. I was
It's
like,
it's exactly what I thought of. Because his hair is already spiky. It's perfect.
yeah,
Just color it yellow.
color it yellow, and they've done a Sonic the Hedgehog, the homage to the Dragon Ball's universe, and the opening song. Okay, now I played it when I played it again. I listened to watched the opening one. I went, "Whoa!" Did you hear that Takani go, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" That is the same guy who does the Sha la 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 for Dragon Ball Z. And I went, "What the fuck? How did I miss that?"
Oh, what? No way.
I was
Oh,
like that. So
shit.
again, messaged my cousin and shit, Stefan, get on this. And he messaged me back, Dragon Ball Z. I was like, yes, it's
That's
Dragon Ball Z.
amazing. That's so well. That's the other thing too. Is that when I was looking up sort of the development of this game and sort of how it came to be, because like when they bring things from Japan over to Europe and North America, like it takes some time and there's a translation and it always
Mm-hmm.
this is a Japanese game, like you mentioned, very very much that, and they had to find a way to bring it to other markets and everything. So it took a little bit of time to get over. But one of the things, instead of having like voiceover or instead of having like other fancy bells and whistles in the game, they really like kicked butt with the music. Like that's a
Yeah,
big part of this game. And it's
oh,
awesome. It's awesome all the way through.
the music is the music hits. I honestly put this down that the Mystical Ninja soundtrack is one of the best on the N60. It's in the top 5 for the N64. It is
It's so good.
superb. And I said it's a soundtrack that I had not played this game for 15 odd years. And then I heard it again, just a little bit of watching a video, and it was when they were walking through the forest of Dune, 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 Dune. Oh my god, it's coming back, and everything just flowed back, and it was like, and that's a sign of a good soundtrack if you can just hear the first
Yes.
2 seconds and you're in. All right, that hits with you. It's like,
You-
you listen to ones like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy. The moment you listen to even a bit of that song, you could play the rest of the song in your head.
Yeah, yeah. And it takes you back. It takes you back
Yeah,
sitting on the floor, sitting on the couch, whatever it
yeah.
was where you played the game. And it's something that happened to me in this game as well, because I think it's the music. I know it's the music in the first or second town of the SNES game that I
Mm-hmm.
played. It's the same sort of very similar tone and music notes in
Yeah,
that opening section of the town. And I was like, oh, it sounds so great. I was like, this is me at 6 years old sitting in front of this game that I had no idea what was going on. I was just whacking ghosts and people in the village to pick up coins, and all right, cool, great. And like that's what I felt, but
yeah,
in a 3D space. And I was like, man, this is great. Like they really knocked it out of the park. They were gonna do co-op with this game, which I think would have been awesome. But one of the things they left out was co-op so that they could make the sound and the worlds be a little bit more lively. So the sound, I think, music especially, I think that's okay. I think it's okay that they favored that because it is very very well done.
yeah.
And it's definitely a standout. The music in this is definitely one of the highlights for sure.
Like, I think if they did it, I kind of disagree about the co-op. I think if they did
Okay.
do it, it would have been a bit clunky and it would
Mm,
have taken away. I think 3D games like this, I can't think of many. Like, you think of Ocarina of Time, would that have worked as co-op? And probably, I don't think it would
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do it like if you had 2 different screens, but I think if you were doing split screen on that, it would take away from a lot of what you were meant to be seeing. But they did
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
co-op. They brought co-op back for the second N64 game, which fuck me, I want to cover that because that is hard as balls. The second game,
100%. So I spent some time in it and noticed that it was co-op. It offered, like, every time I'm playing, it's like got one of those screens at the bottom where it says, 2-player, press start, you can jump in. Has multiple characters like it does in the first one, like in this. Which, by the way, having multiple characters basically from the start is a great idea in this game. I absolutely, I love.
freshens it up.
Yeah, right away. And they have different reasons why you need them, especially as
Yeah,
you get further into the game. Like at the beginning, I was like, okay, well, I'll just play as one or the other, and eventually I'll switch back and forth. But really, as you get at least a third of the way through this game, you're like, okay, now I really need to find a way to use all of them, which is
yeah.
not something that happened very often at this time.
No, because you got going on the pipe. Sasuke had the bomb, I think it was, and also had a
Yes.
who had the jetpack? One of them, was it Sasuke as well? I think it was Sasuke had a jet,
I
or was
think
it
it
May?
was. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Every character had their own usage. May could swim.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, was it Yai or May? The girl could swim, the female assassin, or
Yep, could swim. Yep.
she could swim. And so everyone, and Bitsumaru could go really tiny. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, everyone's got their own little thing. And they've got their own animations for when they walk. Like, so Bitsumaru does a little floaty.
Oh man, he's sort of like he's grooving, man.
He's
Good.
grooving
I
along.
was walking around in circles with him to the music. I was like, this guy's got the beat going. This is like a rhythm game, but it's just him walking.
He's having the time of his life. But
He really is.
everybody's got their own unique thing. And I said, yeah, it's 4 characters in one. And
Yeah.
again, Link, basically, if you want to look at compare it to Legend of Zelda, because there's going to be those comparisons.
Sure.
Link has basically all those items in hand. Then the way they
Yes.
cover that in this game is basically, okay, each character is going to be an item, but it just freshens up the gameplay the whole time.
Yeah, you're right. And they all like, because they all do different things, like not even just with any sort of quote unquote upgradable weapons or any of that kind of, like, just their basic abilities and movement are different. So already you feel the second you take 3 steps with each character, you feel like you're playing something different.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have a use case for each one. It's not just because you want to look at something different. It's because they all do what they need to do in a special way. And I think that's awesome. And the sequel does that as well. But I didn't have as much experience with that because I wanted to favor this one because I was having a good time playing this in like a 3D world. They go back to 2D. They reintroduce co-op, and you're right, it is balls hard, man. Like, it is tough. I got a few levels in. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the other one.
Yeah, it's scary. And I had this. I bought the second one.
Yeah.
Oh no, I bought the first one. I got it on eBay. I remember I sniped someone. I was like, ha! But the second
Sucker.
one was a lot harder to get hold of. And
Mm.
I need to play the second one because it's one of those. It was a great game. It was Goemon's last game, I think it was.
Yeah.
Freaking Konami just won't do anything with him apart from put him on those machines.
There's something they could do with these characters, I think, because they have so much personality.
Yeah.
They could definitely insert them into another adventure, whether it's 2D or 3D, and really do something goofy with it. And I think in a good goofy, just like these ones.
It baffles me that we haven't seen another Goemon game. I was like, just throw one out there. It's freaking Konami being Konami. But to say how much he's still prevalent. Like, did you play Smash Brothers? Smash Ultimate?
Oh yeah.
He's in it. He's in Ultimate.
I know. It's crazy. It's like make the team sort of like they do with the Pokemon trainer. Make the team the character. Make all 4 of them or 3 of them, whatever many they want to throw in there. Make that so you can like swap them in and out and stuff like that. I think that'd be so fun because you'd have like 4 different characters doing 4 different things. And it's a great way to just put the whole roster in there. Honestly, when I said let's get them back in games, it's the first thing I thought of is like do some sort of Smash thing. Because if they can have them in one, they can have them in the next one. Like,
shit, I forgot about Go. I think because I did as a Patreon episode, it was like the top 10 characters I'd love to see in Smash Bros. And I forgot about Goemon because he's already in there as a Mii skin. He's a Mii swordsman. It's like, shit, he would have been awesome. Yeah, the idea, I wasn't even thinking the idea of doing all 4 as a Switch. That's even better.
I just find that Pokemon trainer thing, like it just doesn't matter if it's like the meta or does it matter if it's the best character. I just find that idea that they did with that fighter really cool because you just have 3 different choices.
Pokemon
I think it's really awesome.
Pokemon trainer is my favorite. That's what I mean. Because I start off with Squirtle and I just go around going with the little withdrawal. I just keep using that and pissing people off because it's just funny.
It's
going
awesome.
boop, boop, with his little shell, and then when it's like,
and the animations are all cool. It all looks really great. So,
and then they've got 90% health. I'm like, right, Charizard, just fire, please,
just go,
just go till you die. I love Pokemon Trainer. I wish they bring Blue. Fuck, that's the one thing. Bring Blue as a trainer, but they don't. Him and Red and Green. Sorry, this is me. I am a Pokemon nerd. That's just me.
Blue, man.
But yeah,
Blue's my game.
Goemon would have been just awesome.
Yeah, it would be really cool and something definitely different and really like inserting really I don't know. I was going to say intense, but intense is not the right way to say it. Really unique Japanese culture into a game like that. A game like Smash is very, worldwide. It's definitely not just North American or European or anything like that, but it is a worldwide thing. But a little bit more of that in there, I think, would put a lot of character into it as well, because this game, Mystical Ninja, is just full of wacky character moments. And there's so many crazy characters. Like you mentioned earlier, there's giant robot battles that are just like something you've never seen in any other game, or really since, with the way that it's put in there. And like,
No.
man, it's they have so many ideas smashed into this game. I didn't expect it to be this big and full of random cool things. I really, really didn't. And it's all there. It's all there, man.
Yeah, I think there was one bit which, like, I know Japanese culture a little bit now, and it'd be a bit jarring. I mentioned probably for yourself that you just like, why are we doing this? And it was when they get into Impact, and there's the whole Impact song. And they literally play the whole song every time you face Impact. But the reason is because that is what Japan do. Like, I've
Right.
watched old Japanese anime, like old Gundams from the 1979. They do that sort of shit. That's their culture. But to American audiences, we'll be like the Power Rangers, and we're like, well, they get in about 10 seconds and they go, go, go. But no, why are we having a whole 3-minute song? That's Japan. That's
is
Japan.
Just the way it is.
Unapologetically Japan. And again, it's a culture shock. Now, if we play, okay, we've seen a lot of Japan now because of like media has kind of introduced us to that. But at the time, I was like, this is going on a long. Okay,
Yep.
now come on.
Definitely what I thought. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's not terrible. But also, like, nowadays we're used to, when something lasts longer than a minute, it's like a skip button pops up.
Yes,
Right?
skip.
Whether it's TV or video games, like, it just, if you've seen it once, you've seen it already. But
Yeah.
you're right. They're not apologizing for their culture and what they want to bring to this game and to this world. And that's, maybe as a kid, I would have been like, oh my God, let's hurry up. I don't want
Yeah.
to. But now I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure. I can spare the extra couple of minutes, and I'm
Yeah,
okay.
not gonna kill you.
I'm okay
It's not
sitting
gonna
through
kill
it.
you.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I mean, really, man, I don't think it's like the greatest game on all parts, but I don't think that's
No.
what it's going for, or what you're even saying either. But I had a great time. I still had a really fun time with it, and I'm pleasantly surprised once again. And a
Yeah.
game that I never played and barely knew anything about, that I got to play. So I want to say thank you for suggesting this game.
More than, as I said, yeah, it's not trying to go game of the year. It's just basically a wholesome, funny experience. And again, did it do what it says on the tin? Yeah, it did. 100%.
Yeah.
You play this now, you'd still enjoy yourself.
Amazing. Yeah, for sure. And definitely, expect a game that doesn't last just a couple hours. It's got some meat behind the bones here. It's
It really
it's
does.
pretty decent. And honestly, the character variety, I think, was probably that, and the music were the two standouts for me. And if that sounds interesting to you at all, and you have any chance to replay at least the first one here, Mystical Ninja, then I say go for it. So, Danny, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to dig back into this game and jump on the show. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is my first ever co-op mission. So this is a pleasure. So thank you for easing me into it gently.
No problem. Here to help, man. Here to help. And before I let you go, where can everyone find your stuff online?
Yeah, so you can find me over at Retro Wars. Obviously, just go wherever you listen to your podcast, or you can follow me on Retro Wars. Oh no, Retro Wars UK. I lost my old Retro Wars podcast Twitter. Bloody, because I said sacrifice Donatello the Turtle, and Twitter banned me. I was like, you are taking the piss. Honestly, they banned me. They banned me for that. I couldn't believe it. I said, Donatello fan, obviously. Yeah, find me over at Retro Wars. We do shows once a week. And yeah, it's just basically just a general shit show.
Amazing. Love it. Gotta have that in your lineup for sure. Yeah, once again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for getting up early in the morning to take part in some N64 nostalgia. And hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, take care, mate. Thank you.
Thanks once again for joining me on this journey of Remember 64 and for this latest game and level. Thanks again to our guest also for joining us. Just a quick reminder again, if you want to get a couple of things early, including some new video content, if you're listening to this to the beginning of 2023, you're going to see some really new stuff coming across the Patreon page, and it's going to be happening weeks, sometimes months in advance before it hits the public. So some great stuff you're going to get early there on top of episodes that will be up early as well. Other than that, shoot us a rating on your podcast app of choice, Apple and Spotify more specifically, so more people can find us and join us on this journey as we head through the Nintendo 64's library. Other than that, thanks again everyone for listening. We'll see you next time on Remember 64.